I don't see a lot of companies that educate their customers enough to care about the underlayment. Every roofing company learn from a company that does digital only because you have to be a higher level in certain ways. Like with your stuff,
If we get on a call and I'm doing something non-traditional, right? I'm selling over the phone versus selling in person, and it's not smooth, the person on the other end is going to be like, well, why didn't they just come sit down like everybody else?
hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Hook Better Leads podcast. And today I've got Kody Landals of Reimagine Roofing out of Arizona. How you doing, man?
Doing awesome. How about yourself?
Doing very well. We're talking about a lot of things today, but first we're going to talk about how you're running a digital-only sales company. I mean, a roofing company on the sales side, digital only, and essentially without meeting the homeowners in person. And I'm very curious as to how you do this, and even if a roofing company out there isn't going to go digital only per se, could they learn from the experience that you guys are providing, noting that you guys are growing and have grown a lot. Could you give a little bit of your background and like where the roofing company is at and where it's going, I guess?
Yeah, so a little bit of background on the company. We just completed our fourth year. We currently operate in about 10 states, and really this idea came to me as something that more and more homeowners are going to want to take advantage of. More and more people, whether they're buying shoes through Zappos without trying them on or Carvana without test driving a car. I think there's a growing amount of homeowners that are comfortable making purchases in non-traditional ways. And as everybody gets busier and busier, we work from the central idea that some homeowners don't want people sitting at the kitchen table, and they want to be able to buy a roof without having to have somebody sit at the kitchen table. So we create a process that's a fully digital process that it gives homeowners the ability to build up trust through media. We have a lot of YouTube videos, a very, very strong digital presence, a lot of amazing reviews that homeowners can build up the same level of trust that they do with the sales rep sitting in their home, that they can do digitally. And we like to tell homeowners that we'd love for you guys to hang out with us for a couple hours digitally. And when they go watch the YouTube videos, when they go look at the reviews, when they go look at our website, they come back and say, okay, I understand what you guys are doing and I want to be a part of it.
I got so many questions, so let's knock them out a little bit here, and I'm sure the people at home do too. Roof inspection side of things. What are you doing for that?
Yeah, so that's something that still does happen in many cases, or sometimes it happens after the fact. So it really depends on what the initial call coming into the company is like. If someone says, hey, I have a 25-year-old roof and I know I need to replace it, we will let them know that we have an option for a 24-hour streamline process, meaning that we can go over the quote with them within 24 hours. Give them a range of what they might expect for pricing, and then come out and confirm it with an inspection. And so that way, using a per square pricing, they can get a general idea of it's going to be somewhere between 20 and 23,000. Then we go out, the inspector does his inspection. We call them back up and say, great, it's going to be 21,000 or whatever that number is. And then they can move forward, but they don't need to be home for the inspection. So that gives us a lot of flexibility. Most of our inspections happen within the first 24 hours. And so that's something that sometimes gets kind of misconstrued in the fully digital process. An inspection does occur, but it's just not the traditional sales process that happens in the home.
I'm going to go back and forth between really nitty gritty questions and overarching questions here. I think one of the overarching questions might be, do you feel like you can sell as well digitally? And I'm familiar with that, right? Because I sell over Zoom to marketing to roofers, but actually there is something lost a little bit in that process, the humanity, you know what I mean? Like Kody, you and I, we're getting to know each other. I'm sure we'll have a little rapport by the end of this, but maybe a little less than if you were sitting on the couch next to me. You know what I mean? We're chit-chatting.
And my answer might surprise you. I think, yes, I think 100% something could be lost for some customers. But I also think something could be gained for customers that value speed and ease over personal connection. Not everybody wants to have to connect with somebody when they're buying a car or when they're buying a house. Myself personally, I would prefer to be able to look at the numbers and make a decision and sacrifice a little bit of the human connection if that means a quicker process and an easier process. And so we work with a lot of Airbnb owners. We work with a lot of investors, a lot of people that are, traveling, that want a fully digital process and that prefer that over the in-person. But 100%, there's people that want the in-person. But one of the things that we try to focus on is our niche. I don't want to appeal to 100% of people that need a new roof. I want to appeal to the people that want to buy a roof in the easiest way possible. And that's what we offer, not the most human connection possible. And I think there's a difference, and we understand that. And some people value different things.
I think more and more people are valuing the get it done. I don't want to talk to everyone side of things. That's certainly a surging feeling, amongst millennials. And I think anyone younger is I don't really want to talk to the sales guy for that long. I want the work done and I want a decent price. Do you find that there's a little bit of, do people value that on the premium side, or do you have to do you feel like you have to be really price conscious because you do a little less high touch?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that our prices are pretty standard within the industry because we give a luxury experience. Just because it's digital doesn't mean that the roof we install, the materials we use, or that customer experience changes anything. They have an in-person project manager. What we actually do is also overlay a virtual project manager. So they would have, the in-person, your standard PM that's running the job, as well as what we call it the roofing concierge service, which is a virtual assistant that's sending over a timeline from Company Cam that shows their roof being built in real time, as well as having that in person. So we actually create a luxury experience, whether you're at home or not at home. If you're over in, out of state, we work in a lot of areas with snowbirds, like in our Florida, our Arizona market. They can see the same roof being built in real time, whether they're at home or they're halfway across the country. And for us, that creates a luxury experience, even though it's digital, because what we're doing is we're improving the trust level because they see in real time the roof being built, and that gives them more trust. And the materials we use are top notch as well.
So that we're going to talk a little bit more about all that, because I think that there's so much to be learned from what you're doing for any roofing company, whether or not you're going fully digital on the sales side. To kind of zoom in one more time to this process, questions people might have. One of them might be around the day of build. So project managers on site during the day of build. Is that something you guys do? And sometimes the benefit people find will be that person can then sell the neighbors that are coming out hearing all the noise, and they've got the nice truck wrapped and they've got the yard signs or whatever else they're doing. Do you guys have somebody out there for that? And how do you leverage that as a marketing thing at all?
Yeah, we definitely have somebody out there on the day of start. And I think what's different about our model a little bit is that we really optimize for a true project manager. A lot of companies, that's a salesperson. Which if your primary function is sales, what is your primary focus? It's on sales, not project management. And so we kind of look at it differently, that their primary function is project management. We don't do heavy door knocking. We'll maybe go 5 to 10 doors around, just let people know, hey, we're in the neighborhood. But we're mostly a retail company, and I've just found that door knocking in retail is typically not as effective as door knocking around storms. And so we do, other things, like we'll do some mailers around the job to notify homeowners. But we don't have a sales guy out there doing heavy door knocking. But we do have a project manager out there ensuring quality. And we're probably leaving a couple roofs on the table by not doing the door knocking. But I think we are improving the overall quality by saying, hey, your primary focus is a 5-star review, rather than your primary focus is turning one roof into 2.
Once you get to know us, there's no reason to buy from anybody else. What we do differently is we do stake in the factory. You're truly buying direct. We don't sell to distribution. We sell to roofers, the people that have been getting hurt for years. You keep getting price increases from suppliers. We do price decreases. We've had about 4 price decreases this year. VanBoxwellBuilding.com. We have a new website, the Amazon type platform. You go right on there, click it, put it in your cart, we can send it to you, or feel free to give us a call. We'll answer any questions for you.
Yeah, every once in a while I'm just like, I literally just equate door knocking with storm restoration. And so like sometimes when people, like I've said that before and people are like, well, they're not the same thing. Well, talk to me about how big of a percentage the retail door knocking thing is. It's pretty low from what I can tell. I mean, I like the knock around the job thing, but I think it definitely, I think people get a lot more excited about the storm restoration door knocking because if I can knock your door and say, hey, you might get a free roof, I mean, it's a sick deal.
100%. And with retail, it's just, when is the right time to replace a retail roof? Probably before it starts leaking, but is it a month before it starts leaking, 6 months before it starts leaking, a year? It's everybody kind of has a different timeline. And so after a hailstorm, everybody in that neighborhood needs a new roof. When a retail roof happens, only the person you're replacing the roof in their mind needs a new roof. Everybody else is thinking, I need a new roof maybe next month, maybe next year. So the activation energy is just a lot lower. And then also the psychological side of it is you're a lot less likely to get referrals because on a storm situation, if I just got a free roof, I want to tell my neighbors because I'm helping them out. But if I just spent $20,000 on a roof, I don't necessarily want to give you the information to my neighbor because I don't want to sell them a $20,000 roof. That's kind of, it's like, let me ask Jim first to see if he wants to buy a $20,000 roof. And Jim's going to be like, no. Versus after a storm, of course, Jim wants a free roof and I'll go introduce you because I'm hooking Jim up. And so I think the psychological aspect, just like family as well, you don't want to go give a salesperson information if it's not a hookup. And retail roofing, it's not a hookup in most people's mind compared to storm restoration.
Absolutely. That brings me to, I guess, around the financing side of things. I mean, I think of financing as like I don't fully understand why people don't offer it more often. I'm guessing you do.
Yes, I mean, financing is a huge part of our business. Prior to getting into roofing, I was actually in the solar industry and that's largely all financing. And so when I came over to roofing, I understood the power of financing and how valuable it could be for the business and for the homeowner. So we work with the National Credit Union that has just some absolutely amazing interest rates. And it's a huge, competitive advantage. And it's huge for homeowners. It really just helps them out in situations because on the retail roofing side, especially, it's a lot of times it's kind of a blindside thing. You might know your roof's old, but you don't know it's going to be that old. And then you might think you might be able to just do a minor repair, but it's a 25-year-old roof. And so you're out of the blue getting hit with a, $20,000 price tag. And then on the insurance side, as we see increased deductibles, as we see, percent deductibles or $5,000 deductibles, I think financing is going to play a huge role, and it's something that every roofer should be able to offer, not only because it helps your core business, but it helps your customers too. And it also does a huge help on upgrades. When people want to maybe go from a shingle to a metal roof or, add the ridge vent or add, an extended warranty, it becomes a lot more affordable when it's, an extra $10 a month instead of, $1,500.
Yeah, that's what I see. Like, so we're working in HVAC and plumbing and some other industries now, doing a little bit more of that. We have 75 roofing clients, but we're starting to get into some other niches. And the way that they look at it is just like it's the upgrades thing. Like it's so much easier to get upgrade. The cost, the average ticket goes way up when you offer financing. It's not just about like getting somebody to afford something. It's about getting them to afford what they actually want.
100%. 100%. Yeah. And if it's like, hey, here's our base model with a 10-year warranty, or for an extra $18 a month, you can get a 25-year warranty and you're going to live in this home forever. Who doesn't do that upgrade? And so you're adding margin to the job, and you're also then adding customer experience because now they got what they really wanted, and now they're super happy about it. And you were able to do it. And it might be the reason you won the job because maybe your competitor didn't offer it and they really want that. Maybe it's a metal roof, or maybe it's an upgraded underlayment or the class 4 shingle or whatever it is they really want. You're the only company that provides a pathway for them to get what they want because you have financing. And so then, price largely goes out the window at that point. It's about what you can deliver on the service, and you're the only company that can deliver that if you're the only one offering financing.
I gotta fuck with you for a second. Did you just say they want the upgraded underlayment? Can you imagine a homeowner? I'm just messing with you, Kody, but can you imagine somebody being like, I need that sweet underlayment?
Well, that goes to part of our strategy. We do what's called assignment selling. So prior to meeting with one of our sales professionals, we do ask homeowners to watch a series of videos that educate them.
Okay.
And
really
one of them
do the
is,
underlayment.
if you want the best, call us and ask for the peel and stick. And people will come to the call saying, hey, we're about to go over the packages, and they'll say, I want the peel and stick.
Really? Okay, you got me, man. I didn't think that was a real thing. I don't see a lot of companies that educate their customers enough to care about the underlayment. I mean, not to say that I think everyone should, but it's funny that you're educating them that much that they're like, they have an opinion on that.
It's the single best video I've ever made in my company. We made it probably 6 months into me starting this. Right now, without it being listed on YouTube, and it's just directly sent to customers, 3,100 views. So that means 3,100 potential customers have seen this video and have seen the value of upgrading. And we
That's cool.
our base model package, we only sell 28% of the time. So 72% of the time they're upgrading either to our mid-level or to our top-end package. And it's all through them self-educating, because they come to the table saying, I want something, and then they see the price. And that is very, very powerful for someone to say, I want something, how much is it? Versus I say, hey, you want this, here's how much it is. It just changes the dynamic with it. And it's a better roof. And when homeowners have that education and they know they want something and it's an investment in the home, it makes it so much easier for us on the other end, rather than trying to dictate to somebody.
So now we're fully into this. Hey, what else should every roofing company learn from a company that does digital only? Because you have to be a higher level in certain ways, like with your stuff. Because like sometimes the in-person sales might cover up problems that you have around the perimeter of what you're doing. So in your case, because it's exposed, everything, you can't make up for it with some, charismatic sales guy in person just being like, come on, just do it. You have to like
100%.
have everything tight.
1,000%. And that's why, a lot of people that, when I'm working with other companies and they're like, hey, should I start doing the digital sales process? And I'm like, no, you should master the in-home first, because that's way more forgiving. If we get on a call and I'm doing something non-traditional, right? I'm selling over the phone versus selling in person, and it's not smooth, the person on the other end is going to be like, well, why didn't they just come sit down like everybody else? It's already going to be something that's used as a negative instead of a positive. And same thing, like if we're more in person and I don't have the estimate ready, I'm like, oh, that's okay. I'm just human. But if it's over the phone and I don't have my stuff ready to go, it's like, why aren't you in person? So everything defaults to what people expect if it's not better than the expectation. So 1,000% we have to be sharper, and we also have to build up more trust up until that point, because if we're in person, I can look you in the eye, I can shake your hand. That builds up a certain amount of trust. There's body language. There's no body language on the phone. It's all tonality. And so you have to then build up trust in other ways. Because I tell my team to think about sales as, a piggy bank of trust, and everything we do, we're depositing. We got to get to $1. If I come out in person, I might have $1 in my pocket, and I can put that whole dollar in the piggy bank all at once. Over the phone, there is no way you are going to do that in a single call without seeing other things about the company. So that's where we have the YouTube channel. That's where we have all the amazing reviews. That's where we have the well-defined process that homeowners understand in a locked-in sales presentation, because all of those are going to deposit the money in. And then all the sales professional has to do is put the last maybe 10 cents in there. And so everybody else that's doing in-home can take that same concept and still build up a massive amount of trust prior to it. And that's one of the things that we coach a massive amount, in the organization where I coach in, the RSRA. We really teach that, and we have some videos in there that show people how to do it and help people build their media, because I think that's the biggest thing missing for roofers at large is just media in general, is really understanding how to build up that trust pre-appointment, because so many people are able to deposit a whole dollar, in that one appointment. They get kind of used to that. and they don't realize how much they're leaving on the table if they just did a little bit on the front end, how much more their close percentage would shoot through the roof.
I think I'm going to steal that piggy bank thing from you because that's really good.
Thank you.
That's really good because, yeah, I talk about that all the time, right? Like I've, marketing guy, read a lot of books about trust, the speed of trust, the trust edge, it is really about trust. Like so much of digital marketing is about trust. They can't see, with you guys, they can through company cam, they're seeing the roof go on and all the different things. But when you don't know what you're buying sometimes as a homeowner, like how can we make the invisible more visible? Another really great book is Selling the Invisible. And it talks about making more of these things visible. And you're doing that with the digital process. You also have to figure out how to make trust happen when some things are invisible. And I think I'm doing a talk this Friday at something about how digital leads are different, right? Like comparatively to when somebody's referred, which it's like there's already like a bunch of trust there. You're 90% deposited on the bank. We got to create all this stuff, like you're talking about the piggy bank. Like, what else can we do to make that trust happen? And it starts on your website, or it starts on the Google ad, or it starts on the reviews. It starts in all these digital ways. And if people live, like some people have an embarrassment of riches in regards to they lived off of referrals for 10 years. So it's very confusing to them when they're trying to expand the network from that core group that it expands very slowly. Like referrals expand like this. So if you can then market hard and thus add this, but you had that trust gap between referrals and completely like strangers on the internet. And that's, I think, the hardest part for a lot of people. In the video, like you said, like that's the biggest thing. Really quick, how do you send those out? So when you're sending a video out that has the underlayment on it or the different packages, what does that look like? And like, how is it sent out? Like specifically and tactically, like when and like, what are you using for that?
Yeah. So 95+% of the time it's done via text. We try to do everything through text. If you just look at any of the numbers on it, 98% of texts get read versus, less than 70% of emails, and that's dropping every day. And if you just think in your personal life, even when I get a spam text, I still read it. I'm like, okay. It's like 30% off. I still read it though. And so we just try to make it as easy as possible for people to buy from us and for people to learn from us. And we've just found that even the 75-year-old grandma probably prefers text over email. It's everybody can pretty much text now.
What platform are you using, or is it manual?
So we just actually switched over to Hatch. We'll be using Hatch now. We were using Ring Central and like another app, Be Texting, that's kind of sat on it so we could schedule it. But it was Hatch is going to be a better option for us moving forward.
Hatch, and there's another one, Chirp, which is like on the HVAC plumbing side, because they have databases and they're always activating them, like to say, hey, get your checkup or whatever. Those kind of companies have this down and they swear by these things. You know what I mean? To be texting all the time and to also have the ability to send out like a mass, like, hey, we've got like this opportunity, which if roofing companies had more services like gutter cleaning or Christmas lights or whatever else, it would be an opportunity. It does seem like, and I know you're into private equity and you've joined up with a firm. What are you seeing in the sister companies or whatever that you're working alongside of now? What are some things that you've kind of gleaned and grabbed from some of the other ones that you guys are working alongside?
Yeah, just that there's massive opportunity to take what companies are already doing and leverage 2025 basically. It always blows my mind whether it's one of the other brands or we were just at an RSRA event last week, and I was sitting next to a guy that did 50 million basically all off door knockers in one area, and it was just like, wow, I do zero off door knockers, and so it's just being able to leverage some of this modern stuff with that core footprint can in a lot of cases just it's a massive leverage point that you can have huge impact with very little minimal effort. And I think the companies that don't get complacent with, hey, we're doing 30 million this year, and I don't need marketing, because I think more and more is shifting. Each year, less and less people want their door knocked. Each people want more and more all in the digital space. Each year, people talk to their neighbors less, which means less referrals. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's irrelevant in business. We just have to look at the reality, and that kind of that's on the downturn versus people getting information on the digital spaces on the upturn. So, if you do those a large volume of that, how many reviews are we getting out of that? Because you should be able to get 500 reviews in a year. And by in 2 years, have 1,000 reviews and just have massive leverage on the digital side that supplements your guys that are door knocking. And that's what we're seeing, and that's what we're helping a lot of companies do, is seize on that before the shift happens, kind of too late.
Hey guys, this is Bruce by Don, and when dealing with insurance companies, you definitely need an expert by your side. So if you need someone to walk in, hold your hands throughout the insurance process, not really, Max. Deal with the experts, supplement experts.
You can hold my hand.
Do you know anything about like the one-to-one compliance thing that's going on with like Angie leads and stuff like that? Have you traditionally used those at all? Is this going to drive up the cost of like people selling leads a lot this next year?
I think it will. We don't use a ton of from that lead source. We do a lot of biggest thing we do is local service ads with Google. I just think you can't get a better lead than that, just because it's inbound and with us having amazing Google reviews, you saw my 600 reviews and you decided to call me. Like, you have high aspire.
I like Google ads and SEO. We do LSA too, but you don't need an agency for LSA. But the reason I like it is because if they go to the website, if they get to the website and they learn a little bit more about you versus like just click the ads the LSA is like, Google is cheating because they just put it right at the very top.
And the drawback of LSA is it's capped. It's like I try to give Google 100,000 a month, and they're like, "Great, we're only going to take 7," because there's only so much to go around. Yeah. So that has to where you take that next step into the PPC and the SEO space. Yeah. Obviously, SEO is even better if you find me organically, not even paid. Then it's free. Plus, you've decided to come, to me without me like kind of going out and saying, "Hey, come to me." So
I think to be a little like on the Google side, like LSA is the best because you can cut through and spend the money when you can spend the money. Then Google Ads, because then it's like if they click through to your website, it is a little bit warmer in a way because then they didn't just click 2 LSAs and just like submit information. And then warmest would be SEO, but it's the hardest too because it's like so much work to try to get your site higher on Google. It is an enormous effort. And I think it's also like there's a whole question right now, right? And smart people keep asking me, like, Tim, what are we looking at for the future of SEO? Because I used to have clarity around that 10 years for sure, brother. Now then it was 5. Now I have like 2 years of like, I think it's there, right? Like SEO's there for 2 years, I think. And probably longer. But the point is that it's scary because ChatGPT and other like language models and AI are going to cut into it. It's probably it's like at like 8% or something. It's going to go up to like 30 in the next few years maybe. And in that, there'll probably be ads on ChatGPT here soon. The question is just like Google's dominance. Is it going to last? Is it going to be there? And that is a really good question. Now, the best part about doing SEO now, sorry, I'm going off on a bully pulpit here, but the best part about doing SEO now is like, you know what you can't do with ads? You can't affect the large language models. So like right now, I think of some of the SEO we're doing, let's just say for my own company, as programming AI. Because I can feed AI the answers that I want it to give. And that's why I'm doing, and this is one little nugget for people, doing a lot more lists. So even if you just went and you took all the towns in your area and you did the best roofing companies in town blog posts, you can help program AI to spit out what you want. And it works. It works really well. So now I'm doing it for everybody that could refer us. I'm making these lists for all like roofing business coaches. You know, I'm making all those lists because I'm affecting my ability to get referrals from other people too, to be useful to them. So it's scary time for SEO. It's a scary time for digital marketers, but it's one of those things like, as it's scary and everyone else is stuck, if you adapt quickly, there's in the fear, there's also a lot of opportunity.
100%. Yeah. And one of the things that like we really preach to anybody that I work with is you have to be a marketing company in addition to being a roofing company. That doesn't mean you have to do marketing yourself, but you have to understand it enough to choose the right marketing partner because, you know, there's going to be so much changing. But you have to have that mindset. And I think the one thing that I think is going to be true regardless of who wins in this race is that whether it's a large language model, you know, SEO, all these Google, they're all trying to optimize for finding the right contractor, because that's why I keep using Google, because when I search good Chinese food, they take me to a good Chinese food restaurant. So I think if you can focus on being a good roofing company and having, you know, evidence of that, which right now is like Google reviews, but maybe ChatGPT starts a review channel, and I start driving my customers to leave reviews on ChatGPT, you know, or whatever that next medium is that says, prove that you're a good company. This is how you do it. Okay, great. You know, maybe like in the past, it's keywords on your website. You know, if you say these keywords, that Google says you're a good source. But just keep understanding, you know, how to be good in the eyes of, you know, whoever you're trying to be good at, including your customers. And I think the technology will reward you. And my hope is that as the technology gets better, it gets even better at identifying what is good and what's not. You know, similar to kind of the Google algorithm, where in the past you could keyword stuff, which doesn't mean you had a good website and good information. It just meant you knew how to, you know, break the algorithm. And now it's a lot more about, you know, how long is someone going to stay on your page? Do they find the right information? Are you a market expert? Because all of that then usually has better, you know, output of, is this person actually know what they're talking about, which is what you're usually trying to find when you Google something. And so I think as the technology gets better, it's going to get better at identifying who does good work. And so if you're a roofing company, you know, do great work, and then find out how to tell people that you're doing great work. You know, whether that is, you know, on Google reviews right now, or documenting on YouTube, or et cetera. I think that's what you have to continue to evolve in, and that makes you a marketing company.
Agreed. And I'll bring that down to like a little tactic here too with the video side of things. More and more we're seeing YouTube videos showing up in Google search results. So another thing, and this is very recent too, the reel or the shorts, YouTube shorts are showing up. And they show up very quickly in comparison with, you know, trying to rank your website. So something that I highly recommend, in addition to all the like the sales enablement videos that you're doing, occasionally just do the straight up keywords, like for instance, your city plus roofing, and make it a reel, like, and make that the description right there, because they show up really quickly, and they're like, it's a nice way to just have another representative. Like, I don't even need to be, I sent this to my marketing team the other day. I was like, I don't need to be first as long as we're on the first page 3 times, right? And if you can, we are showing up like second. It was like home services marketing or something. We're showing up second. We're showing up as the YouTube thumbnail, and we're showing up as a YouTube short thumbnail. And it's like, that's a lot of places. And so video allows you to cut through really quick and get onto that first page of Google in a lot more places. So can I go back to one thing? You had mentioned this video, or some of the videos that you send out via text, and now you're going to be doing that through Hatch. The question is, like, what is on that video and what do you think are the best videos that you're doing like that actually get more customers?
Contractors love the catch-all because it makes every single one of their roof builds easier and more profitable. Protective netting wraps facade and landscaping to prevent from left-behind nails and damage. Homeowner referrals bring you more jobs, and insurance supplements bring you more profits. But my favorite part, the branding.
I think the best is either a couple different types of videos that we have. One is going to be explain the process. So we have like a 2D animator video that's like, this is Jim. Jim needs to replace his roof. He decided to, and it's kind of like walks the homeowner through the process. And then it has some product videos. The underlayment video I mentioned before is about a 2.5 minute video. Basically in it, and I can send you a link to it. Maybe we could put it in the description. Where it's like, it just explains, hey, here's roofing tar paper, here's synthetic, here's peel and stick. It's synthetic. I have to put it on your roof with 10,000 nails. That means 10,000 potential leak points on your roof. This is peel and stick, 0 nails on your roof. Do you want 10,000? Do you want 0? And then people call in, they're like, you know what? I watched the video. I don't want any nails on my roof. And they would have never had that, thought that I don't want any nails on the roof. If you're in a heavy hail market, you should do a video on what a class 4 shingle does and why they may want to do that. Talking to whatever problem that they're trying to solve, why your product would solve that problem.
How do you, just to get real tactical here, like when you're texting them what do you say on the text, like not verbatim, but like in general, to try to get them to watch this video or these videos?
So when we do the initial call, like when we do an intake call, as most of our leads are all inbound, we do very little outbound. We ask, some good clarifying questions. And let's say you're on the doors if you're door knocking, but, identifying what's the length that they plan to spend in the home. And if it's a longer, hey, we're going to be here for the next 10, 20 years. We just ask them like, so are you interested in possibly looking at some different options to make the roof last a little longer? And they say, yes. Okay, great. I'm going to text you over some videos that explain the different options. And then when we text it over, it's just, here's a YouTube video explaining the different types of underlayment. And then when we go over price, or we go over your different options, as we call them, we'll talk about how this plays a role in it.
And just for like the storm restoration guys out there, like just a note, like people do want their roof to last, even if they could get it paid by insurance. I've been out to a metal job before, and I asked the guy why, and he's just like, I don't want to have to do this again ever for as long as I live. So I believe this metal roof will last past the time I die. And that was his reason. It's like people do different things for different reasons. Some people really want to not have to do the process of a roof again. It's annoying.
And especially if their deductible went from 1,000 to 5,000. If I'm paying 1,000 every 3 years, no big deal. But if I have to pay 5,000 every 3 years, and I'm going to be here for the next 20 years, that's 6 roofs. That's $30,000. That's a lot of money that I'm putting into the roof versus being able to just upgrade to a metal roof. And maybe we do that with some financing. So we're talking about an extra, $150, $200 bucks a month if they use their insurance money to the roof. And then the rest is financed and they never have to deal with it again. It's a 50-year roof. So, those are some of the conversations that I think storm restoration contractors need to start having. One, because it's going to increase your average ticket price. 2, it's going to give a better experience to the homeowner. But 3, you're going to lose deals if you don't bring that up, because then you're not an expert. If you don't know the different roof types available to homeowners, whether it's metal or, they have the Euro Shake now, the rubber roofing that, can basically survive anything, and somebody else is bringing that up, even if I don't want it, what that tells me about you is that you only know asphalt shingles, which means you're not a true roofing expert. You're an asphalt shingle expert. You're a storm restoration expert. Your competitor, they're a storm restoration expert and a roofing expert, which means I'm much more likely to buy a roof from them, even if it's just a shingle roof.
Kody, this was brilliant today. You gave me a ton of great ideas. I hope the people listening also got a few that they can use today or this week. Use this information. Don't just be a consumer. And I want to ask you, Kody, what are you involved with? What would you like to do as a call to action here? I really appreciate you joining us. And I appreciate you being on.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. So if couple things that I do. One, you can check out our actual Reimagined Roofing YouTube channel if you want to kind of follow the journey of the company as a whole. And that's just at Reimagined Roofing. If you want to have some information on sales training, building a roofing business, really anything along the journey of what I've done personally. I did just start a brand new channel called Reimagined Roofing, Roofing Reimagined. Roofing Reimagined. If we can maybe put that in the description as well. Yeah, sure. And then if you want a little bit of more coaching, I'm a mentor in in the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, which is an organization ran by Adam Binsman. We also have John Cenac in there, Jim Aline from Roof Marketers, and Deshaun Bryant. I'm one of the 4 mentors in there. And that's an organization of over 350 roofing companies. Where we do one-on-one mentoring. We do one-to-many mentoring and one-to-many groups. So we have group sessions, Zoom calls, and then we do once a month live events. We just had one in Colorado last week, and then in February, everybody's coming out to Arizona to do a tour of my office, see our virtual sales process, and kind of meet the team. So if that's something you're interested in, I can put a link in the description as well about that. And that is a mastermind group where there's a lot of community activity, a lot of group training, and also Adam Bensman's sales formula and his marketing battle pack and his direct mailers and things like that.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for being on. This was super valuable. And I know you're not like always trying to get up in the roofing industry. I know that you're a little bit more subtle, but I mean, hey, the roofing industry will benefit from you being out there, and I appreciate you being involved with it's called, what is it, RRCA?
RSRA.
RSRA. Yep. Is that a different one? RRCA. RRSA. Say it one more time.
RSRA, Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance.
Right. Awesome. Yeah, and I see his ads, and obviously like we have him on the show and stuff like that. So I really appreciate you being on and letting people know about that organization. Thank you, Kody. And thank you, everyone, for watching. The podcast is put on by hookagency.com. Hook Agency all over social media. We're grateful that you guys watch and take the time to listen to this. Follow Kody. Go look at what they're doing on YouTube. Go check it out. And benefit from these things, even if you're not doing an all digital sales experience. All right, bye.
Awesome.